Hi everyone, Mike here from the instructional design team at msjc Delta. We've had some questions about how to use the templates, so we made this quick video for you. I know it can be daunting, but just remember, it's not hard, it's just new. So let's go into a class really quick and I'll show you how to use the templates. So here you'll see I'm in a class, and in this class I'm on the home page and there's nothing in here, right? Working with it. We'll find that in the global navigation under Commons. So we'll select that, and then there should be a filter button to the right. It's right here, and I'm going to click it. Then I'm going to select only MSJC approved resources, and then click out of it. Now, everything that's in here are things that we've built for you. These expander packs are more complex, and they're meant for users who have used this before. We're just going to go over the basics today. So we're going to select one of them that says Essentials, Templates Essentials. And I like the bold and gold. So let's go with that. Once we click on it, you're going to see everything that's going to be brought into the class. It would seem intuitive that if I clicked on it, I'd be able to see what it looks like, but Canvas doesn't allow that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to look over here. This graphic is going to give us a basic look at what it's going to be like, right? A basic preview. And we're going to select Import Download. Now, I know it seems like, oh, it's a great option. I'll import it into all of my classes. Please never select that. If you do, it'll move templates into classes that you may have just been assisting in, and it may overwrite other faculty's work in that class. You don't want to get that angry email. You also don't want to delete your own stuff, right? So we're just going to select the one course here. Today, we're working in Project Demo Shell, and we're going to select Import into Course. Now, everything's disappeared and we're back on this page. What do I do now? So now we just need to go back to the class we were working in. Where do we find that? That's right, in the dashboard. Once I move to the dashboard, I find the name of the class I was in and I click on it. And then there it is, right? I'm on the home page and it shows this. Now, typically I'll move down to modules because that's where you're going to be building everything. So first thing to tell you, if we're not here, if Delta is unavailable, like on a weekend or after hours, there are instructions of everything we're going over right here, okay? We build them into everything. We want you to have all the tools. We're not going to go over that today because that's the point of the video. So here is the home page. I want you to think of the home page as like a landing place for students. It's always going to remain the same. You're just going to leave it in the class. And you're going to put all your basics on it. So here we're going to create a copy of one. But before we start creating copies, we need a place to put things, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a module. And you see this red button that says plus module? We're going to click on that. And we're going to name it week 1 because let's keep it simple, right? However you want to name your modules, you can name it after subjects or whatever you need, but we're going to call it week 1. And we're going to add that module. Now you see it showed up here at the bottom. And I like to move everything I'm working on up to the top. I can move it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this 3-dot menu. I'm going to select Move Module, and I'm going to put it at the top. That's just a quick way that if you have extra things in here, you can move them around without having to grab things and move them all around, right? So we've got the two things we're going to build to. Let's start off right with the home page. Now the home page is a little different, okay? Because the home page is going to be its own thing. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to duplicate it first. So here it is. We're going to move to the 3-dot menu, select Duplicate, and then there's the copy. On the copy, we're going to hit the 3-dot menu again, and we're going to select Edit to rename it. This one, we're just going to call Home Page 1. And again, remember I said that sometimes things get overwritten, you know, when you bring in a new template. That's why we're naming everything right away before we start moving it around. So here's the Home Page 1. Now, the home page is unique, right? It's our unicorn in the classroom. So what we're going to do is move to the 3-dot menu. That's 3 times we've touched it for this one. And we're going to select Remove. I know you're thinking, oh no, I just did this work to get it copied. Remember that it's not going to be removed from the class, just from this module. So it's going to ask me, is that okay? And I'm going to say, yes, it is okay. All right, now it's disappeared. where do I find it? Well, it's moved from the modules where we're at right now onto the pages. So let's go to the pages. On pages, there it is right there. So what I'll want to do is I'll go in and I can make my edits here, right? Here are some of the instructions for everything I just walked you through, from faculty guide begins to faculty guide ends. When you're done with this, what you're going to do is you're going to highlight all of that and then backspace, and that will delete it. Of course, we have to have hit edit before we do that, right? And I'm not going to make those changes right now. I'm just showing you where to make the changes. But we put some tips of success. You can put in a description of the course, your learning objectives, and importantly, all your instructor information and when you're going to be available. And then what we'll do is we'll go back into pages, okay? So we're going to go to view all pages up here. Now, we've made all our edits and it's ready to be published. So we go here and we click publish, and that little green check means it's done. And then we're going to go to the three-dot menu. We're going to select use as front page. Now this little indicator shows up. It's now available to be the front page, but is it the front page? Not yet. There's one more step we have to do. So we're on the pages in the index. We're going to move up to home and select that. Once we're on the home page, we're going to move to the far right and go down to this button that says choose home page. Now it's going to say, how would you like to choose it? And I'm going to select pages front page right there. And it lists the one that I named. I'm going to save that. And voila, it's showing up as my front page. I know if I've done it properly, the whole process properly, if I click on the student view here, and I can still see it. See this pink banner that says you are in student view? If I can still see it here, that means that students can see it. So we're going to leave student view at the bottom right. And now we've finished our home page. Yes, success. That's the hardest one. Okay, so now that we've created the home page, we're going to move down and go back to the modules where we can see everything as a part of the group. Okay, and now we're going to start creating copies and then moving them into our week 1 module here. So we've already done the home page, so we don't need to worry about the alternate, but we're going to start off with the overview here. So once we duplicate that, we will then rename it by selecting edit. And then we'll call it week 1 starts here. We want to give the students a milestone that they're actually starting the week. And this is how we do it. We make it very obvious to them. So we'll hit update and then we'll move that up to the other week. So what happens is if I drop it here in this box, it won't drop right here. So you don't want to drop it here because it'll move back down, but you want to move it just under the box till the little dotted box moves down. So now that overview is in there. Now I'm going to create copies of the week 1, column 1, the discussion, the assignment, and the unit summary. Okay. Now we've created all these different things here. Again, the lecture came from the column 1. The discussions came from the discussions, the assignments from the assignments, and then the summary became the end here, and the overview became the start here. So now we can go into each of these and look at them, and I'll show you how to make edits. So we'll click on that. I just noticed that it takes us to pages every time it does that. So I'll make my edits here, but remember, we've got to move back to modules when we're done. All right, so I've edited that, and I want to get rid of this up here because I don't have unit numbers. I'm going to hit highlight it and delete it twice. All right, so the first thing I want to point out is that this is listed as a heading 2. How do I know that? Well, it's right here. Okay, and this is for screen readers. So we leave this formatting alone. We don't touch this. We built that in so that screen readers can tell what's under, see, this one's listed as 3. We can tell which subject is under which, and it gives a hierarchical structure so that people who have sight impairment can actually skim through this and read it just like we would. All right. Okay, so we pointed that out. Now, what happens if I'm editing in here and I get a little too big for my britches? oh no, I lost something, right? Well, there are different ways of fixing it, but the easiest is to hit Control-Z on a PC, and that'll undo the last thing you did. So hit Control and Z at the same time. If you're on a Mac, you can hit Command and Z, and that'll undo the last thing you did. Now, what happens if that doesn't work? Well, all is not lost. You can hit the cancel button. Just know that you're going to lose any work that you did in this template if you hit the cancel button. But we did make some changes, and we're going to go ahead and save this now. All right, so we'll click Save. And then remember, we need to go back to modules. So we'll move there on the index. Once we've moved there, we're going to go down to the next item, right? We're going to move to the lecture. Now, I said there are different ways when we're editing. Let's go ahead and select Edit, that we can change the formatting on here. Let's say that I have content 1 here and content 2. Let's say I want content 3. I would insert my cursor right there, hit Enter, and then type out content 3. And then what I'm going to do is, just with it blinking on that line, I'm going to move up to the paragraph and select heading 3. That will give it the color and all the formatting that the rest of them have. So that's a way that I can add things. Now, when I hit Enter, it just moves back down into paragraph, which is the body type that you see up here. So then I can add different things. Let's say that I want to add a video here. I would type out an intro to my video. This is, hi, this video is about, and then tell the students what it's about. Now, let's say that I've got a video made and it's captioned. That'll be a different video if you want to do that, but you'll have videos set up in the course, and it's this blue octopus. If we click on that, it should bring up all the videos that we have created and captioned and at our disposal to put in the class. If I click on that, if I leave this unmarked, then there are going to be no student comments allowed on the video. If I leave it like this, though, it gets big and rambunctious, and students are able to comment on it. So I always recommend turning that off and then embedding it. And once you've been doing this for a while, you can see what you like. You can try it both ways. All right, so there's the video. You can see there are no comments turned on below it, but I can play it in the class. It's embedded, right? So there we go. So there is the video. There is adding formatting to this. That is basically what I wanted to show you in this one. So we're going to go ahead and save this. So let's move back to the modules again. Once we move to modules, we're going to move down. We've already done the discussion. We'll move into the assignment. Now, there are some things I want to show you in this. This is an important part of the discussion and the assignment, and that is when we're editing, you can add these into the gradebook by selecting some of these things down below it. So see these options? Well, you're going to give your assignment points. Let's say this one's worth 100 points. Now, in the template, there's also a space where you tell students how much it's worth. Remember, this needs to line up between what is typed here and the settings on the actual assignment. You can also import assignments. If you're working with a publisher and they have assignments, you can bring them in that way. But I'll let you go through all of this and all the options that are available to you. You can also do a plagiarism review. This is important. We have something called Unicheck that will send it out and compare it to other papers for other students. So then you get a report back on whether or not this assignment that your student submitted is truly their work. All right, so we'll check that. And then we're going to move to the bottom. Oh, and here we go. It gives you all kinds of resources there. So then you can go ahead and select all the rest of this. We're going to hit save here. And that just gives you the options on that. So now here you'll see I typed in that it's worth 100 points. And in the settings, it's actually worth 100 points. And that'll be up in the gradebook up here, right? So when I go into grades for the classroom, I'll actually see this assignment now once I publish it. That's also true with your discussion boards. Okay, so now let's move back to modules. And we made it. We're at the summary for the week, right? So let's click on that. We're going to go through and edit this. If you have any additional resources, like let's say that someone's having a difficult time in the class and they need some other additional resources, like remedial resources, you can put those here. It's a great thing to offer students. You'd be surprised how many people use those because maybe they just didn't understand one aspect of what you were talking about. Maybe they got the majority of it, but you're really going to round out the student's educational experience if you include additional resources for students to look at. All right, so now we've made it to the end of that. We're going to go back into the modules. So here we've created 1 week, right? This can be our template, basically. We can create a duplicate of the entire module. That's the Mike special right there. So if I go here to the 3-dot menu and I select duplicate, aha, there is the copy down below. Now all I need to do is rename this, right, by selecting edit. And I'm going to change it from week 1 copy to week 2. And then I would just rename all of these. So I hope this has been helpful. If you need anything further, feel free to reach out to us at Delta Services. We're here to help.